Rachel Casey, Office of Planning Staff, 444 South 5th Street, 40202, presenting on behalf of Tyler Pobiedzinski. This is 25 CUP 200 for a short-term rental of a dwelling unit that is not the primary residence of the owner. This is an R5 single-family residential in the traditional neighborhood farm district, approximately 0.23 acres. The site is developed with a single-family structure. Off-street parking is available via an existing driveway and garage. There are 3 bedrooms, allowing a maximum of 8 guests, and there are no short-term rentals approved by CUP within 600 feet. So this is an aerial image of the subject property. You can see the driveway coming off the street there, and then a small garage in the rear. This is a zoning map completely surrounded by other R5 single-family residential on Bluegrass Avenue. This is a subject property seen from the street. This is adjacent on Bluegrass Avenue, adjacent to the right if you're looking at the structure. And then here is adjacent to the left, 2 homes. And then this is across the street. So staff finds the request is sufficiently justified for approval based on analysis in the standard review. There are no short-term rentals approved by CUP within 600 feet. The property includes sufficient on-site parking, and it meets all applicable standards of the conditional use permit. So the required actions are to approve or deny the conditional use permit to allow short-term rental of a dwelling unit that is not the primary residence of the owner.
Questions?
So I think, is there like a commercial zoning somewhere along Bluegrass, that little square hair salon? Oh,
Yeah, but it's not actually
not
zoned.
commercial.
It exists,
Right.
but it's not actually zoned commercial. It either has, I'm not going to say it has non-conforming rights, but it's a non-conforming use
okay, so
of some kind,
it's
but
the
it
residential.
may not
zone.
be officially, but it's operating in a non-conforming manner.
Okay.
Yes.
And again, is the facility currently being used as a short-term rental?
I do not know the answer to that question.
We look right next.
I think the only fair thing to do is to at least let the people who are here to speak in opposition so they can get their comments on the record. And if he's not ready by then, I think we need to just continue the case.
Yeah, I think that's the right
It's
thing to
almost
do.
3:30. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like it's 1 o'clock and we're moving it
I mean-
further back on the agenda. There is no more further back. On
Right, and he can review the testimony that the people in opposition give today.
And you're welcome to come back or participate online, but at a minimum, we want to do this so you don't have to come back.
Yeah.
Right, but but if he comes on, we actually get him. By the time you all are done with your testimony, you can listen and we can give you a chance to respond because we're doing this a little out of order. I think there's three. There's 3 cards. Yeah.
Okay, all right, so. 15th time. Sorry. All right, do you swear the testimony you're about to give today is the truth? All right, who will start?
I should start.
And since you've been sworn in, you just need to give your name and address, and then you
My name's Tyler Gill. My address is 811 Bluegrass Avenue. Thank you guys for moving forward and letting us be heard today. So like I said, my name's Tyler. I was born and raised here in Louisville. So was my wife, Teresa, who's here with me. We moved into our house at 811 Bluegrass Avenue just over 1 year ago. We were first-time home buyers, and to say we took our time finding the right house for us is quite an understatement. In fact, we shopped around Louisville for a house for nearly 4 years. It took us that long to buy for a few reasons. We entered the market at a time when interest rates were skyrocketing, housing market was moving very quickly. So if you didn't decide to make an offer as soon as you saw a property, it was already too late. And if you did make an offer, it was likely that you'd be outbid by thousands over asking, only to see the house flipped, placed back on the market months later. So pretty frustrating. So for years, we waited for the right house to come along and for the stars to align for us to be able to make an informed decision on where we would try to raise a family. Now, our story is not unique. I think the housing market is still in a similar place where affordability and availability are a big problem. We bought our home in Beachmont because it was within the limits of our relatively small budget. And because of that affordability, Beachmont is a neighborhood on the rise. Families are moving in, businesses are opening, the area is getting safer all the time, communities are being formed and strengthened, and that's why we also see landlords trying to capitalize on the growth of this community. And it's my strong opinion that short-term rentals are detrimental to that growth overall. I say this with certainty, we would not have made an offer on the house that we did if the house next door was a short-term rental at the time. Statistically speaking, from my own research, we're amongst the majority of home buyers who say they would not prefer to live next door to a short-term rental, one that is always a short-term rental anyways. This is one of many ways in which short-term rentals seem detrimental to the values of the homes around them. And I ask you all, the members of the board, to ask yourselves if you would prefer to live next door to an Airbnb, a house that will either be empty or full of strangers at all times. A house that can never provide the same support of a next door neighbor. And this idea is not as tangible as dollars and cents, but I don't believe it needs to be. I think community is a universal idea. It's why all of us are here today and why we've hung out through this meeting. Short-term rentals, in my view, only benefit one person, their owner. They're not good for communities. I think they're bad for surrounding property values. They're linked to increased rates of crime. They're even detrimental to hotels in the area, which are built for the purpose of housing travelers. Airbnbs provide passive income streams for landlords at the expense of the neighborhoods they're seated in. They're a product of the Silicon Valley business model and mantra, move fast and break things. And the thing that gets broken in this scenario are local communities, all for a quick buck for those communities that never really benefit from them. Instead, the landlords and house sharing companies make a profit at that community's expense. Bluegrass Avenue is a relatively busy street, which means we don't get to have as much daily contact with our neighbors on the other side of the street. And when you pulled up that picture, now there are 4 houses between Hair Studio, 805, and Cliff Avenue, the next cross street down. So that means these 4 houses on this street are our immediate community. These are the homes on our block and the neighbors that we see every day. That aerial shot. Yeah, that's perfect. So 2 doors down from us are our neighbors, Eric and Danny. They're on to the right of the Airbnb in question. And then they're here with us today. Our neighbors on the other side, Shiloh and Austin, just sold their house. So they're the ones closest to Cliff Avenue. So then there's our home, which is right next door to the Airbnb in question. So what that means is all of the active members of this little bitty community that we see right there are here today asking that you don't allow our little 4-home community be reduced by 25%. So I'm asking you guys today to prioritize us, the homeowners of Beachmont, and even more specifically of this little section of Bluegrass Avenue, the people who live in this neighborhood who will be here for years to come, making this our home, raising our families, contributing to the community. Please prioritize this little community over one passive income stream for someone who doesn't live here. And thank you again for your time and understanding and for letting us speak today. We also, my wife and Danny went around the streets surrounding and got some neighbors to sign on who couldn't be here today. And we have like 32 signatures, including us. So I don't know if we need to submit that to you guys. And that's all I have. Thanks.
So the applicant representative has arrived. So we'll have you come up. We had one member of the opposition speak in the interest of time, but we'll let the other two wait. And if the first person who spoke in opposition has something else to say after hearing from you, he can come back up. Okay.
All right.
Want me to bring this up? Is that okay?
Yes. Thank you. Name and address, please. Name and address.
Michael Marks, attorney for the applicant, 2933 Bowman Avenue, Louisville, Kentucky, 40205.
Thank you. Mr. Marks, do you swear that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth?
I do.
Please proceed.
Right. First, I want to apologize. I got caught in a court hearing that took longer than I had hoped for. Started at 1, so I've been at it just as long as you guys have today. Maybe not quite as long, but close. I'm here representing the applicant. The applicant is an LLC. The LLC is owned by an individual named Adam Hicks and his wife. They are local investors. He works at AT&T. She is an agent. They own multiple long-term and short-term rentals. They recently purchased this property a few months ago and are hoping to use it as a short-term rental. They have great experience and great success in doing that, and have never had a problem with the city with any of the houses that they manage. Short-term rental, obviously less than 30 days. They will be leased out to one party at a time. Currently, there's 3 bedrooms, and so the maximum occupants are 8 occupants that will be able to be there. They will mostly advertise on Airbnb, and VRBO is where they lease this to the short-term renters. There is adequate on-site parking that would not allow, that wouldn't be required to do on-street parking. They have established good guidelines and rules for the renters, restrictions on loud noises, curfew, quiet hours. They live locally. They are here close. They manage and visit the properties frequently on a weekly basis on the short-term rentals as they get them ready to lease out. They are willing to receive questions, concerns, comments from the neighbors. Multiple neighbors attended the neighborhood meeting, and like most neighborhood meetings with short-term rentals, there's some people that attend that are concerned about what that means for their neighborhood. They picture loud parties. They picture raucous crowds. They picture a lot of people moving in and out, scary people. In my experience, I know this isn't necessarily specific to this. In my experience, people enjoy short-term rentals. I should say there are fewer problems with short-term rentals than long-term renters. Sometimes you get long-term renters in there, they're there, and you have little opportunity to regulate what they do or not do, and hard time evicting or moving people out. Short-term renters, it's all based, the vast majority of the business is based on a ranking system. The tenant ranks the landlord ranks the tenant, and everyone tries to be on their best behavior, because as soon as you get some bad rankings, that diminishes and devalues your investments. I'm happy to answer any questions that the board has regarding this specific property.
You said the applicant lives nearby.
Yeah, they're Louisville. Yeah, they live here in Louisville, Jefferson County.
And
So
we asked that, as you know, because if there is an emergency, we just want to make sure that they can be at the property when they need to be.
as soon as possible, correct.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
All right. Members, any questions for Mr. Marks? Yes.
You said that they are alluded, I guess, to the fact they have other rental units like this.
They have probably, I won't give you, probably 5 or 6 other short-term rentals that they have and manage in Louisville. All of their properties are in Louisville. And then probably about 5 or 6 long-term properties, long-term rental properties that they have here in Jefferson County as well.
And do they manage the other short-term rentals themselves?
They manage everything themselves. Yes, yes.
Thank you.
So sometimes they hire out people to clean or, but they are the point of contact. They are the managers of the properties, correct?
All right. Other questions for Mr. Marks?
So how did the neighborhood meeting go and were the owners there or were
The
you
owners were
or-
there. Well, Adam was there. I should say Adam and his wife, are the members of the LC. Adam was there. Neighbors came. They were first off kind of questioning what does this mean? What's allowed? What's not allowed? Concerns about what that would mean to the nature of the neighborhood, having short-term renters out. And we kind of just explained to them the process and, that they meet the requirements. They want to be good landlords. They want to, have communication if there are issues. But that's kind of how it went.
Other questions?
One more,
Yes,
please.
yes.
You said you did have a neighborhood meeting,
Yes.
and what was the attendance at that?
I want to say there were 7 people that came and signed the sign-up sheet. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe that's all the
But don't
questions.
quote me. I mean, ish. Yeah.
I think that's all the questions for now.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We'll continue with the opposition's testimony. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Name and address, please.
I'm Danielle Mendoza at 807 Bluegrass Avenue, which is the neighboring house.
Okay. And your zip code, did you say?
Oh, 40215?
Right. You swear the testimony you bet? Okay, that's right.
But yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Danny Mendoza, and I live at 807 Bluegrass Avenue, which is right next door to 809, the property in question. I'm here today, despite being a busy graduate student, a mom, and a teacher, to voice my strong opposition of allowing 809 to becoming a short-term rental. This isn't the first time that I have spoken up or a lot of our neighbors. As it was mentioned previously, we did all attend the initial meeting with the buyer, and we all brought up our concerns and our opposition to it then, as well as this past Saturday. Teresa and I, the other neighbor who's here, we walked around and we got a whole bunch of signatures, 32, who also were, every time we talked about it, they were in opposition and really did not want to bring in another short-term rental into the neighborhood. We've made this time because of the major impact it has on our neighborhood, and it's just too important to ignore. And that's why, regardless of having minimal PTO time and stuff, we're still here. So I appreciate you guys still squeezing us in. Beachmont has always had a strong sense of community, one built on long-term residents who know each other and look out for each other. A short-term rental disrupts that. It brings in constant turnover of strangers who have no stake in our neighborhood's well-being. I also want to note that the previous owner was really clear. He was a good friend of ours as being a neighbor. If he had known that this property was going to become a short-term rental, he would not have sold it. Obviously, that's kind of out of his hands. But that just speaks volumes, I think, to the stability and trust and wanting to preserve the community in our neighborhood, especially with it just being the 4 of us, little houses in that strip on Bluegrass. This situation demonstrates how short-term rentals undermine neighborhood cohesion and weaken the relationships that make Beachmont strong. To protect the character, safety, and trust that define our neighborhood, I urge you to not allow 809 or any home in our residential area to become a short-term rental. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions for Ms. Mendoza? Thank you.
Thank you.
Tyler Gill?
I already spoke.
Eric Reynolds, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Name and address, please.
Eric Reynolds, 807 Bluegrass Avenue, the Peach House next door to the property in question. Basically, much the same. Beachmont doesn't need another empty house with strangers coming and going every weekend. We need neighbors who plant gardens, walk their dogs, wave from the porch, and care about the people next door. Every house turned into a short-term rental is one less home for a family and one more sitting dark most of the year while investors cash out. Airbnbs drive up prices, push out working people, and drain the soul from neighborhoods like ours. They turn real communities into revolving doors. Appreciate your time. Listen to us today. We're in opposition of this house becoming a Airbnb. Thank you.
Have there any questions? Thank you, sir. All right. I think we've heard from everyone who submitted a speaker card. Mr. Marks, yes, you get 5 minutes for rebuttal.
Thank you, and hopefully I won't come near using all that time. I appreciate these people coming out. I don't agree with their opposition. I can understand it. It's their neighborhood. They're nervous about change. I have an Airbnb 4 houses down from my house. There was a little trepidation at first. It's turned into be fine. No issues. A little concerned that they're saying there's lots of Airbnbs in that neighborhood. That there's no other within 600 feet of this one, at least not legally registered. And so if there are other short-term rentals that they know of being used that would conflict with that, that should be reported. So I'm talking to them more than you about that. But there are no other houses registered within that distance limit. I also want to stress that there are mechanisms to punish bad actors, bad landlords when they rent out these short-term rentals. Kind of 2 strikes and you're out type of deal, that if it does become issues, that they, which I'm sure they will be, which is good, they need to be proactive neighbors and report those. And I have confidence that there won't be issues. But if there are, those should be reported, and this can be quickly revoked by this board or by the city to prevent, issues from festering and becoming long-term neighborhood issues. So this meets the qualifications for short-term rental. We meet all the requirements that are in the code, and then we're put on a short leash to make sure that we continue to register and provide good tenants that don't disrupt the neighborhood and cause issues with the neighborhood. And if we fail, then we can't do it anymore. But I urge you to approve this CUP and allow the short-term rentals to be had at this property. Happy to answer any last questions if there are any.
Don't believe there are any. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'll close the public hearing at this point, and we'll move into deliberations on 25 CUP 0200. We have the staff report, heard testimony from those in support, the applicant's representative, as well as those in opposition. Any thoughts? There is no 600-foot issue related to this particular property. There is a petition that's been submitted with 25 signatures on the petition. 32. Thank you. Mr. Rodriguez, did you want to say something?
No, just like the attorney was saying, I mean, there's really no control who moved next door if they do hold it as a long-term rental. So I think there's a point there for the opposition. You could have a good neighbor or a bad neighbor. I think, like you said, some of these Airbnbs are well controlled because they could lose their right to have an Airbnb if they don't. So, just keep that in mind.
Thank you. Other points? Anyone ready to make a motion?
I can make a motion.
Please proceed.
I move to approve the conditional use permit, case number 25 CUP 0200, based on the staff report and analyses and applicant and testimony from the attorney that we heard today,
Is there,
including the conditions to allow short-term rental of the dwelling unit that is not the primary residence of the owner.
conditions of approval?
The conditional approval is on page 8 of 8.
Is there a second? Thank you. It's been properly moved and seconded to approve 25 CUP 0200. Roll call, please.
Horton,
Yes.
Bozos,
No.
Ford,
No.
Vida,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Bond.
Yes. CUP has been approved. Thank you.